My name is Ravi Jain, and I'm the artistic director of a theater company called Why Not Theater. And I'm also involved in a lot of community organizations like Beautiful City, Arts Vote, and I work with Schools Without Borders and Manifesto as well. Our leaders need to reflect the people that are in the city. And I think that leaders who make, particularly in decision-making positions, will make choices based on their experiences and based on things that they're really concerned about and genuine relationships to their communities and people who have had experiences that they've had. So the more diverse our leadership becomes, I think the more genuine choices will be to reflect the needs and concerns of the larger population. Because I think often if there's not as much diversity in leadership, you'll have people making decisions out of feeling the need to make changes. So like, oh, I have to make things diverse because like I'm going to get pressure from people, versus like a real need for change, a real desire for change. Well, I think in the media because the media, I feel, is a place where it's like getting on a soapbox. Like you can get up and scream and reach a large amount of people. So it's important because it's about a voice being represented. So the media is really, for me, it's about a tool to access a large amount of people. It's also a place where people go to see their world and hear their world, really, because we can't be everywhere all at once. So if I'm going to the media to access my world and all I see is not me, or stories that don't interest me or relate to me, or a point of view of the world that has to do with money or whatever, that doesn't access or that doesn't relate to me, I'm not getting a real solid view of what's going on out there. So the more voices we can have heard, the more people that can get up on the soapbox, the better it will be. Because more and more I'm really realizing, I'm getting older now, and I'm realizing how important it is to engage in the democratic process. So, I mean, it's kind of where we're talking about diversity and its importance in terms of leadership. For me, it's about the democratic process. It's about representation. So, Arts Vote is really looking to artists to say, get informed. Realize that this election is hugely important. It affects everyone. I mean, the focus for us is obviously arts, so to encourage artists to vote for arts-friendly candidates in the election. But for me, I'm fortunate enough to work with a lot of youth. It's really about get engaged. The democratic process is something we have to be responsible for. It's not something that just happens and like we live in a democracy, it's okay. It's something we really need to engage in and we need to think about. I think there is a huge value to the arts, dance, theater, graffiti, urban arts. All of these different arts are extremely important and need to be protected. And when it comes to policy making, arts is often the first thing to get cut. So we saw in British Columbia recently huge cuts to arts funding, and it's affecting all of the output of arts, particularly in the theater community. That's what I'm up to date on. And it's terrible. It's really, really bad. Why is it bad? Because the arts is an amazing tool for expression. It is the media. It is about getting out there and having your voice heard in an albeit artistic way. So it could be through dance. It could be through spoken word. It could be through poetry. It could be through song, whatever. But it's about having your voice heard and articulating and expressing yourself. Also for me, again, I see in a lot of communities, it's an extremely amazing tool for empowerment of youth. And youth are afforded an opportunity to realize that what they have to say has value. Because so often you're kind of told in this big bad world that you're not really important. And I think that the arts is a great empowering tool to find that voice. So the arts is media. And I mean, it kind of falls back on itself. So we need more representation, more people speaking out, more people just, realizing they're allowed to speak. And for me, that's what the arts does. And I think it's an extremely important, essential part of having a healthy community. Well, I think a huge role that media can play is to cover a lot of what's going on in the city. I don't think there's enough coverage of all of the diverse forms of arts that are happening across the city. And I mean that all the way from high arts to opera, theater, whatever, to community arts-based projects. There are some fantastic projects that are using the arts in the city, programs that are running in Jane and Finch, like The Spot is an amazing organization where youth can come and have access to media training. They can have access to spoken word programs, and the media can shine a spotlight there and say, look at what amazing things artists are doing in communities. Look at what amazing thing youth are doing by using art to express themselves, and that they can really emphasize the huge impact it's actually having. Well, I think it's enormous. I think the impact of art is enormous. I mean, you could see it as simple as and superficially as the ROM, which is across from where we are, and the buildings that we see architecturally, these cultural institutions like the Four Seasons Center, the new AGO, ROM. We can see those just on our physical, structural landscape. But then, again, where I think the media can focus is on the people. Like, that's the thing that is not really seen, is the amazing work and that I've been fortunate enough to see around the city, and the community building aspect. So Manifesto is this amazing urban arts festival that happens every September in the city, and it's bringing together so many people from across the city in a way that I don't think I've ever seen before, because people all have this common shared value for this for art. So I don't know if I'm answering your question so much as to say it's in the people. It's in if you were to, it's in people. It's in the people, and that's why it's tough to see, right? That's why it's something that's hard to focus on, because it's in people's ability to express themselves, and it's not something we get to look at. It's not something we think about because it requires a conversation with a stranger. It requires more time and more effort to talk to people. And when you do that, though, you start to form communities, and you start to realize how amazing this city actually is, because there are so many programs. You just got to look. Voices has been awesome for me because it actually led to me becoming, the Toronto Star selected me as one of the top 10 people to watch for 2010. And I really think Maitre played a huge role in that, because I think they saw me in some article, and then they got in contact with me and just connected it that way. So I wouldn't have been seen had that not happened, had I not been in Voices. It's been huge. It's shined a spotlight on this random small guy who's doing theater somewhere, and these unique things that I'm really fortunate to be part of. Like, I'm by no means a leader. I'm really lucky to be just a really enthusiastic follower in a lot of what I'm doing, and so it shined a light on me, and it's been really great that I get to now use that as an opportunity to speak out about these wonderful people that I know who are doing great things across the city, and hopefully deflect some of that light to them. Well, I think that the increased profile is, it's bringing more people to see my shows, which is always great. But more, I think it's, I think it shined a spotlight on me in the sense that now people think I have something important to say. Really, like, that's what the media kind of does. It says, oh, this person is important, we should listen to them. And now it's kind of like I have this microphone sitting here, and I have this ability to be able to speak out and say, not speak out, but speak about the wonderful people that I'm surrounded by, because I'm really fortunate. And I would reiterate, I'm so lucky to be part of so many amazing organizations, or to meet amazing youth-led organizations that are doing incredible work. And so if people want to film me on camera and listen to me, I can talk about them, and I can talk about these things that I think are important. And so it's been great because I've been getting a lot of opportunity to do that, and been making an effort to talk about them. I would say, one, don't ever talk about something you don't know. Like, just admit you don't know it, and don't even pretend. Just, you don't know it, and that's it. Just end the story. I would say try to prepare yourself before you're going to speak. And with both of those, just be honest. Be honest about what you care about, and try to focus what you're trying. I mean, I have at times can ramble, but I try to bring it back to something that a point I'm trying to make, and trying to keep it simple. So I would say that, really.